Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to Adam's TV Podcast. I am your host, Adam Samuel. Today, we are talking about finale night of American Idol 17, where we saw the winner, Lane Hardy, crowned as the champion of the season. And he was my third draft pick, I think. Third draft pick. So for the second Idol season in a row, I get to wear the crown. But joining me for this recap is my co-host, Eric. How you doing today, Eric?
Well, I'm for more reasons than just the lackluster finale. I was at the beach last night, and I got pretty badly sunburned, so that's why I'm all red. It's not because I've been screaming and punching walls for the past hour.
Screaming into your pillow like I did when Ashley went home?
No, I stopped caring last week, 2 weeks ago. When Jeremiah went home, I basically gave up on this season. So,
wow. That's harsh.
I mean, it's true. I mean, I'm honest. I mean, I just didn't particularly care for any of them. Madison was the one I liked the most, or because at least she gave me a couple good performances that I could get behind, but
Well,
for me, it's season 17 finally, not the season 17 finale. Finally it's over. But
I guess I share your sentiments. I mean, this I've not made it a secret that this was not my favorite Idol season. I think I started very high of it, and it kind of fell apart really quickly. I think the turning point, though, for me was probably the week Ashley went home, honestly. And I think from there, it just kind of continued to spiral. But what do you make of our winner? So, like I said, we saw this finale result. We saw Lane Hardy number 1, Alejandro Aranda second, Madison Vandenberg finishing third. What do you make of these results?
Not unexpected. I knew Madison was getting third, despite not deserving third. I knew that Lane and Alejandro would be the top two. I said it was flip a coin who was going to win. But yeah, the stubborn white guy won. Big surprise.
So
the Washington Post is apparently dumbfounded that, oh my God, a stubborn white guy won American Idol? How?
I feel like every season, a lot of people who watch Idol, their memories kind of reset and they kind of forget all the things that happened in the past. I am not surprised at all that Lane won. Lane winning makes sense. It fits in with what has happened in Idol in the past. I think the people who are really surprised, who are all shocked, I feel like either haven't watched a lot of Idol or kind of, they don't read the writing on the wall.
They'd be shocked so they can make headlines, but whatever, who cares?
But I have a bit of a controversial opinion, which I think you might share with me. But I think Lane deserved to win, honestly, of the three of them. I think he played a boring game. He played a very straightforward and simple game that had no moments, but he played a game and he was consistently okay. He never left the B range for me consistently. This is, I can't fault him for that. He played the Scotty game. That's what he did.
I don't think any of them deserve to win.
Well, you got to pick one of them.
If I had to pick one of them, I'd pick Madison. But if I had to pick between the top two, I would have picked Lane. And because, like I tweeted last night, once it got between Alejandro and Lane, I did vote 10 times for Lane because I have to hold myself to my belief for politics and everything else. There is always a less bad option.
That's one way of thinking about it.
And that is 100% a subtweet.
All right. Well, Eric, you've watched a bit more Idol than I have. So in your ranking of the Idol winners, where, in your opinion, does Lane kind of fall?
Bottom 4. For me.
I started watching. I haven't watched much besides for some sparing performances.
I could tell you who's above him. I mean, I could tell you who's below him for me. Personally.
All right. Go ahead.
Personal rankings. I think Lee is below him. I think Scotty is below him. And I think, for me personally, Maddie's below him.
Maddie below Lane?
For my personal preferences, yeah.
For me, he's kind of right there at the bottom with. It's Caleb number one of the bottom ranking.
False.
Well, for me, because I'm still so upset that Gina lost that season.
You can say that, and I can say that Maddie is
All right.
at the bottom.
It's fair. So Caleb is at the this is a reverse ranking. So Caleb is number 1 of the bad. Then right next to him, I would put a tie between. I would put like a 4-way tie between Scotty, Lane, Nick, who I still really enjoy, and Lita Wise.
Wait, why Nick?
Well, of the runs, like of what he did on the show, I think he didn't really have the amount of moments as some of the other winners.
I love Nick on Idol.
I really enjoy
Nick. At his best, but
he's one of my personal favorite winners. Him and Maddie are probably my 2 favorite winners.
Putting him in the rank of Scotty, Lee, and Lane is blasphemy as far as I'm concerned.
I'm just trying to say that they had a very straightforward. What they did on American Idol was very straightforward. It kind of didn't veer too far off the beaten path at times. Like, you know what I'm saying a little bit?
They didn't take a lot of risks, is what you mean.
A little
but based on talent, there's no comparison. Nick is the best of those 4. Okay, now you can keep going.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about I feel like the headline kind of coming out of this episode for many people is not going to be Lane winning. It's going to be that Alejandro lost. So I want to toss this question to you, Eric. Where do you think Alejandro, if anywhere, went wrong?
Wow, that's the most diplomatic way you've ever put that. Well, I'll be nice since he didn't win American Idol, and he's apparently afraid of flying too, so that's kind of sad. He was supposed to be in New York today, and he wasn't because he couldn't get on the private plane, which, to be fair, I wouldn't go on a private small jet either, so I sympathize with him. He's an amazing guitarist, an amazing pianist, not amazing songwriter. I don't like his songs, but
I liked his songs.
People like his songs.
I liked his songs.
But the problem with Alejandro is that he was vocally outclassed from week 1. Genuinely. That's the problem.
I think I messaged Eric like a tweet of there's this gif of like Elmo kind of like standing before fire. Like that was kind of what I was thinking of the season at this point. Like it's just team chaos. Like just let whatever happens. But for me, Alejandro, I think he did the best he could have done. I don't think there's any way he could have taken first place. Honestly, I'm of the opinion that Lane Hardy was probably running away with this vote probably the entire time. And I think there was little he could do. What do you have to say, Eric?
I have to say that before this week, I mean, the second you started listening to the winning single after Lane won, you knew that they knew Lane was going to win weeks ago. All right, go on. Because that song was only written for Lane, but apparently it was the same single for all 3 of them. But the song was so clearly written for Lane.
Yeah, I had that on my notes next. Like his original song, Flame, which, by the way, I just checked right before we went live.
Number 2 on iTunes.
It's number 2 on iTunes, which I don't think Maddie made it to number 2. Did she ever make it to number 2?
I don't think so.
Because I remember Brittany Buchanan of The Voice, I think, was number 1. And there was...
Well, to be fair, Maddie also started shit-talking her winning single like before it could do well. So.
I love her winning single.
I love it too, but she didn't. So,
well, what did you think about Lane's original song, Eric?
I thought I like the song. I don't hate it. It was probably actually my favorite performance of this for the whole season because it was not boring. That's controversial.
It was good. Like I haven't heard it enough times to really kind of form an opinion.
A couple times today, if I'm honest.
I mean, I'll be honest. I had a bit of a party and was watching Game of Thrones, so I kind of had to catch up on the
Good for you. Much better choice.
But well, you know, they were both kind of. It's so funny. All the shows that I've been watching this year have kind of had disappointing endings.
No,
like Survivor.
The champions didn't.
I don't even remember the champions.
Shinlim won again.
I'm saying now, like for this cycle of TV, whatever. Like Survivor, Game of Thrones, American Idol, they all kind of missed the mark on their finales. But otherwise, going back to Alejandro, where did he go wrong? like I said, I don't think he could have done anything. I think Lane was far and away probably this single that was written. It I can't see it fitting with. It's like when Blake Lewis saying like "This is my now." Like it just
it's
doesn't.
much worse than that.
It's worse than that.
Oh, it's way worse than that.
Why is it worse, Eric?
Well, I mean, that was a bad performance. If Alejandro had to sing this song and didn't get to rearrange it, it would have been a train wreck. Plain and simple.
All right. Well, let's take a moment to eulogize our third placer, Madison Vandenberg. She came all the way to third place, which I think she got as far as she could have gone. Honestly, Eric, do you agree?
If America voted for talented people, no, but whatever. I will say that the thing about Madison, she had, in my view, one of her best performances of the season last night, and one of her worst.
All right. Well, we'll go into them all in a few minutes. For me, Madison, the problem I always had with Madison is that I felt like of all the contestants, she is the one who has the least idol experience. Like I've said this in the past, I wish like there is a winning idol contestant in Madison. She never showed it to us. I think what she needed to do is she needed like the Gina Irene like crash course of strategy for this competition. Like she had no rhyme or reason to her decisions. Everything was kind of.
I take issue with that.
All right, go ahead. Let's hear.
So apparently she was going to be singing "I Have Nothing" last night, and she changed her mind to "Shallow," which because she was more connected with "Shallow" and she couldn't understand "I Have Nothing." So you know what? There is some strategy involved. Not enough. Some.
Baby steps, Eric. I don't know. For me, also, I couldn't get behind a Madison win. Honestly, like as much as I kind of had a fault with this top three, Madison she didn't play. Alejandro and Lane, I could both make a case for. I couldn't make that case for Madison. I think that she's
the only one I could make a case for, if I'm honest.
It's ironic, but that's just like I look at her and I'm like, what did you bring to the table this season? Like you smiled during serious songs. You kind of there was no. I didn't feel an identity from her. If I'm looking at
her worst was about mid-range Alejandro. Her best was really, really good.
But she had none of the creativity that Alejandro had, and I think that goes a long way. God. And I think you say that, but I think that is something that needs to be taken into account. I think Alejandro has marketability. He has an identity.
100%.
He knows who he is.
100%. Crap sells. I'm kidding. Sorry. That was a bit harsh. I know. I'm harsh.
All right. Okay. Well, anyway, there was one kind of headline
I was going to be nice, and then, damn it, I screw it all up.
There is one headline that I kind of took away, which was a really awkward, like 2-minute segment that happened during the show, where Maddie Poppy, our winner from last season, is on stage with Ryan Seacrest, and she's kind of given this really sad spot of like a minute and a half or something to kind of promote her album. I felt so bad for her. Eric is not as high on Maddie as I am, but I've actually been listening.
My problem with Maddie is, well, I don't know. I just Maddie is on Twitter has been problematic at times.
Well, her music I consistently love. Her new song, there's the Made You Miss song, which I've listened to a lot since I first heard it. It's a really good song. Have you heard it, Eric?
I heard it once.
Well, I am very high on Maddie. I love her songs. It sounds like a hit. Like it's something I could hear on the radio. I don't know if it ever will, but you know,
I'll make it up to you. I'll give you some good news. The time I heard it was actually on like satellite radio, I think. So
I don't think it was in the. Is it her single? I know that they made a music video.
I'm assuming it's her single.
All right. Well, anyway, we have our two winners. So we have gotten to American Idol 17. We have Maddie Poppy. We have Lane Hardy. Do you have a favorite of these two, Eric? All right, I'll rephrase this question. If we had a finale, if we had a season 18 and the season 18 was just a finale, of Maddie versus Lane Hardy to be the ABC Idol Supreme, who has your vote?
Can I vote for Bobby Bones?
You would vote for Bobby Bones.
I'm kidding.
You could vote for Ryan
I'm
Seacrest. You could vote for
I'm kidding. It would. Damn, that's tough. I'll give it to Lane.
I would. What? I feel like Maddie would have won in that scenario. I pray.
I mean, if so I think we win versus who did win.
Who do you think would win?
I
feel like that whole Idol fan base would come out for Maddie.
Still Lane, actually, I think.
I don't know. In the chat, Gilgo says Ashley was the turning point for me too. Yes, I agree. Gilgo says also, guys, can you please talk about how the finale voting system and how it influenced the results as well? This is a note I have on my notepad, which I'm using my phone today. The format of this finale was essentially every contestant performs. They basically condensed top 3 week into this episode. So each contestant performed twice, and then they had as if it was a regular episode, and they had an elimination. Were you high on this format?
Well, this is what, by the way, before this year on X Factor, this is what they would do on X Factor every year. Basically, they would do there were 3 people in the finale. Halfway through the night or the weekend, they would freeze the vote. Whoever got third place would get cut. And then they would reopen the phone lines, and people could vote again, and all the previous votes still counted. It's the best format to do it for a finale, in my view. The one thing X Factor did better about it is X Factor said you can vote again for people. They didn't cap the vote limit, so if you voted for someone before, you can still vote 5 times again for them again.
I got you. It's close, so I can't really complain. I feel like having the entire finale to vote is a little bit weird because...
Well, it's not.
Well, because they're doing the celebrity performance. Like, it feels weird in my head, I guess, like from what I've seen in the past.
I like it better, actually, personally. It's the one of the few things I genuinely did like about the finale.
Did you think this new format had an influence on the results?
Nope.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think Lane was running away from this probably all season long.
I don't think he lost. I think he was first place vote every week.
Yeah.
If he wasn't, they would have given the people who had a chance of beating him different winning singles.
I mean, it seemed like they were trying to give Alejandro a push. Like this was full on. This finale was the Alejandro show.
Yes, but they knew he wasn't gonna win.
Yeah, which I mean, if I'm a producer and I know like Lane is gonna win, I would kind of want to spend this primetime shot like just fully like trying without saying that I'm pimping him to try to make a song go viral. And he kind of got very little love this episode.
I think maybe they were. I don't even know what's going on.
They were still hoping?
I was confused, honestly, about how this all went. Because listening about winning a single, you know that they knew Lane was going to win. But then the way they treated Alejandro and were like pushing him to high heaven, the only explanation I can think of is that they know Lane is going to win, but they're going to sign him too. Maybe that's the only explanation I can think of.
I don't know. Honestly, like
he needs to be praying right now that Hollywood Records does not pick him up and he can get a record deal somewhere else. That has to be what Alejandro is hoping for. Because I think the way it works is that Hollywood Records has the first right of first refusal. I mean, so if Hollywood Record wants him, he's stuck with them.
All right. Well, I just want to say that this episode of Adam's TV Podcast, we are going to be focusing just on the finale. We are going to be having another episode next week where we will kind of recap the season at large. We will kind of go over some of the bigger points. So for now, should we get into these performances, Eric?
Sure. Let's go contestant by contestant if possible.
Yes. So we are like we usually do here at Adam's TV Podcast. We are going to be, let's say Lane is up first. We are going to be talking about Lane's package of performances in the finale. We're going to save the performances, like everything that was outside of the competition, for like a different section. So for now, we're just going to kind of focus on his performances. So yeah, Lane is up first. He's doing Home by Mark Broussard. Eric, what'd you think?
I can say the same thing I thought about every other Lane performance. This was a genuine, same as always Lane performance. B-.
I wrote predictable, straightforward. It's exactly what you would expect. B-.
You got the B minus too?
I got a B-. I was.
Yay! We're in agreement. High five over the thing. Okay.
All right. Well,
let's move on to the next one.
Let's move on to. We're gonna do these really quickly, Eric.
Yeah, we are.
Jambalaya by Hank Williams. What did you think, Eric?
Well, I've never heard this song before, but it's absolutely awful. I'm sorry. And I think this is actually probably Lane's worst performance in the competition, for my book.
Worst competition? Worst one?
Up there, at least. I hated that song. C-.
I wrote down in my notes, like, at this point, I think the only people we can really blame for this season not being as good as it is the contestants.
No, we can blame America.
No, Lane's kind of like his performance package for this episode was kind of, it reminds me of when I was younger and I would sit down and I would play Monopoly with friends. And, there would usually be that one friend who's kind of not really invested. They're kind of they're like just rolling the dice. They're not really caring. And it's when you play a game with someone like that and they're not playing in their own self-interest and they're kind of just half-assing it, like it takes the fun out of it. And that's kind of, I know it's a little harsh, but that's kind of my opinion of Lane's run. He is that
Oh, that's
player
not harsh compared to what I've said in this episode already. You're fine.
He's just someone at a Monopoly game who's kind of like, he's probably looking at his phone. He's like, oh, I won? Oh, cool. And he's just like, there was no arc. Everything was kind of just a solid line. Like, it never went up. It never went down. It was just.
He's the Anthony Russell of American Idol.
And he won.
Yep.
I wrote down, this is exactly what you would expect it to be. Meh. B. I gave it a B.
Wow. I gave it a C-. I just hated the song. It was so stupid. Next.
Well, we're going through these quickly.
We're doing rapid fire this time.
His final performance, Bring It On Home to Me. What did you think?
Panda did it better.
Panda does everything better.
Not everything.
Well, it's one song, and Panda has claimed this song in my mind. I mean,
and she didn't even make it to the top 16 on X Factor last year, or past boot camp the year she sang "Bring It On Home to Me." I'm just blown away that with talented finalists that we saw in this episode, like Jeremiah, like Demetrius, like Uche, like Madison. How did Lane win?
Did you say Lacey?
I did not say Lacey.
Say Lacey.
You can say Lacey.
Lacey. Yeah, go on.
How did Lane beat all these people? Oh, I forgot. He's a white guy with guitar.
Don't doubt the white guys with guitars, Eric.
I remember last year I was team white guy with guitar. I picked all of them in our draft and I lost.
Well,
so this year you can't blame me.
Well, Caleb kind of played like the exact same game as Lane. I think Caleb though took a few risks. Like there was the occasional like one or two things that he did that maybe like when he did the Prince song, like
yeah,
there was like the occasional like Lane kind of his idea of a risk was not using a guitar.
Yep.
I gave Bring It On Home to Me. It was good. B+, but that's the best I think he's ever done.
I gave it a C+, but I'll revise it to a B- because it wasn't a C+. Minus.
And you know what? It's like that kid at the Monopoly board. He's just gonna go, I won. Which was the one part that I wanted Alejandro to win, because Alejandro, say what you will, Eric, he is not the best singer, but at least he tried to compete. At least he tried to like do something different. Like at least there was something there.
He was trying to do something different though. And so
at least he was
trying. I give him credit for taking risks. None of them paid off for me, but I give him credit for trying.
Gilgo in the chat says, my reaction to Lane's performances is like when Simon stopped critiquing Sanjaya as he kept getting through round by round. No words.
Yep.
I think Lane is a little bit better than Sanjaya.
Yeah. Lane is better than Sanjaya.
But Sanjaya had like a personality.
Oh, wow.
There was something there. Which, by the way, I do think we have to say, can you imagine a season 18 where that girl who auditioned with Lane Hardy comes into the audition room and they're like,
someone
who?
else. She has to bring someone else with her though.
And she's like, he did it last time. I better win this year. That poor girl. What was her name?
I don't know.
All right. Well, so sad. I feel so bad for her.
Uh-huh.
Let's talk about Madison Vandenberg. First up, she's doing Shallow from A Star Is Born. I wrote down in my notes, very, very good song choice. This song choice is a gift. But I wrote down, why no piano? What about you, Eric?
Oh my God. It's just nitpicking. I thought the fact that she switched from I Have Nothing to this was such a good move for her. And I think this was the most connected performance we've had from her all season. I gave it an A-.
I did not.
What'd you give it?
I felt... Why isn't she playing to her strengths? I'm sorry. I sound like a broken record. But
What'd you give it?
I give it a B. It was okay. It didn't make me excited to want to root for her. It was just kind of
excited.
A pretty song, sang okay. There were times when I thought that she was holding back. Like, she could take some moments with this song. I don't know. She's one of those singers who could maybe do something like that. But it was okay. Not the best, not the worst. And that's kind of my reaction.
Okay.
What about her second song, Breakaway, by Kelly Clarkson? What did you think of this one, Eric?
Now, this one I thought was an awful song choice. Because despite the judges comparing Madison to Kelly, she's not Kelly. No one's Kelly. And parts of the last section of this were actually quite pitchy to me. For me, this was Madison's worst performance of the entire season. And yet, I still thought it was better than most anything Ellen ever did. So,
I wrote, it has some nice parts, but I think the ceiling for Madison has been hit. Why didn't you use the piano for this one? I don't know. I'm running out of notes for these people, honestly, at this point. It's kind of just, it's what you would expect from the season, Eric. I gave it a B-.
I gave it a B- as well.
All right. Well, do you want to eulogize Madison's run on the show? Any final thoughts of her?
She gave us a couple of really great performances in my book. I know you don't agree, but Fallen was amazing. I thought Shallow was pretty great. Her audition, Speechless, was excellent. She's had a couple of great performances. Not enough to win. I mean, it should have been enough to win compared to these two, in my view. But, yeah.
I think Madison peaked at her audition, and I think that is kind of the weirdest thing to say for a third placer, in my opinion. Like, she had the one thing that I can take from Madison that I'm going to remember her for is that Fallen performance and how she should have stayed by the piano. But those were my two favorite performances of Madison. Otherwise, I don't know if I'm going to remember her.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's talk about Alejandro's run. All originals. Is that a first?
For Idol, yes, it is.
All right. He actually did like a fourth original.
4 original songs.
Which is kind of like
bonkers.
Good for him. Like that's good money.
I will say it was a smart move. If you're gonna be on the show, you should be fighting to get as many of the original songs as possible if you had them. Plus, it means you didn't have to butcher anyone else's music, so that's good.
All right. Well, first up, he's doing Millennial Love. Did you enjoy this original, Eric?
It sounded like all of the other originals.
I wrote down, it's not Blue Eyed Lie or Out Loud, but it's solid. It was good. I enjoyed this one. It's simple, straightforward, not exactly a moment. I think it needed a moment, but I feel like his original songs aren't going to be songs that maybe have like big vocal gymnastics. It was straightforward and it was good. I gave it a B. C. All right. Well, what about his second performance? Tonight, what did you think of this one?
Not awful, totally forgettable. Sounds like all of his other songs. C.
I think we should actually talk before we talk about the performance about his intro package. Did you see his trip home?
I did not, actually.
So he takes a train home because apparently he doesn't like flying.
Yeah.
He had this really cute moment in like the school where he goes up to the stage and the curtains go up and it's like a choir of school kids and they're all singing his song, and he like starts crying. It was a really cool moment. The one thing that was a little bit strange for me, which maybe you could shed a little bit more light on, is that I don't think we saw his parents or
He's
like
not.
any of his family. Do you know what was happening there?
Nope.
Do you have any guesses? Like what was going
No,
on?
I'm not gonna speculate.
Okay. Well, anyway,
I can
first of
tell you,
all,
I wish we didn't see Jeremiah's parents. Way to change the subject right there.
all right. Well, he has his performances outside. And by the way, I just wanted to say there were a lot of people. Like at his performance, like there were a lot of people there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might have been the biggest of the three of them. And I wrote down in my notes for this performance, he's not the best singer, but I think he knows he's not the best singer, and he's trying to compromise by doing other things, which is the right thing to do. And I think he tried. That's all. That's what I can say for Alejandro's like run. He tried, and it's more than I can say for 60% of the contestants this season.
Uh-huh.
But I really like I enjoy his music. I think of these three, he's the one takeaway that I think maybe has a shot of being someone. And I like this performance. I gave it a B+.
See.
All right. Well, what about his original song Out Loud, his final song in the competition? Did you like that one more?
Love his guitar playing still. Clearly the audience loved him. I don't. I was expecting there to be like a lot of booing after he lost, if I'm honest, based on that reaction after the song. I was shocked that I couldn't hear any audience booing when Lane won.
Maybe the producers, they just kind of have like an automatic like
a noise
applause machine, and they like mute the audience.
Yeah, possible. Yeah, I gave it a C.
I give it a B+. I still love this song. I liked Alejandro's run on the show. It wasn't the best, but it was something.
In a week, I won't remember any of it.
All right. Well, those are kind of the three contestants. So I guess this is kind of going to be a bit weird to kind of ask it this way, but let's kind of go really quickly round by one. I'm going to ask you who won round one, so on and so forth. So in your opinion, Eric, who won round one?
Madison, 100%.
I wrote down three-way tie.
Nope. Next.
All right. Who won round two?
Madison.
all lost.
Barely. Madison barely
with her
won.
worst performance of the season won?
Yep. Even her worst performance was better than anything else she did.
All right. I gave it to Alejandro, honestly.
Okay, good for you.
What about round three?
Well, round three Madison wasn't there, so I'll say that Lane won round three.
I say Alejandro also. I think I'm trying. I'm trying, Eric. It was good. You know, that's all I got.
Okay.
All right. So I guess we could talk about the kind of general finale at this point. So I think maybe we should just we don't need to kind of touch on all of them because some of these are really messy. But did you have a favorite kind of performance of everyone of the general finale?
Okay, well, Adam Lambert by himself easily is my favorite performance of the entire night and probably the entire season. I love that new song. Yeah, I could just say that, and then I can say that Jeremiah and Katy Perry sounded really great together.
I was gonna say Jeremiah and Katy Perry was probably the best.
Best duet. It was the best duet. Adam's performance was my favorite performance because I love Adam so much. But the best duet was Jeremiah and Katy Perry, hands down.
I also do just want to give a shout out to the Demetrius and Adam performance of Bohemian Rhapsody, because why do they keep taking that song and cutting it up?
Whatever. It was fine. Adam sounded really great. Demetrius would have been a better winner than any of these three.
I don't know why he kind of took they cut that song up so weird. So there's the part like the big yeah, but can't you another minute, two more minutes?
They're so low on time. They couldn't give Maddie any time.
But we had enough time for that one guy to sing "This Is How We Do It" with Margie Mays.
Yep.
I would have cut that whole segment. Like what?
I would have cut
That could have been Maddie's spot.
Mm-hmm.
I will say though, I do enjoy that they do kind of bring the contestants back that are kind of beyond like because Margie Mace was kind of a big character for the early part of the season. So I'm kind of glad that we got to see her again, even if it was for her to do her weird voice thing that she does.
Whatever.
Did you like Katy Perry and Daddy Yankee?
I skipped that one.
What?
I skipped that one.
I skipped it pretty much also. What else? Oh, let's talk about the duet with Lacey K. Booth and Luke Bryan. What?
You can. I don't need to.
Well,
I'm done being negative for today.
Eric is done being negative. I enjoyed this. Every Breath You Take is a really weird duet song.
It's a stalker song.
It is a really stalker song. I feel like there was one performance of this. I think it was on Dancing with the Stars where they kind of flipped it. Yes, it was with Frankie Muniz, and they flipped it, and it became like a horror song. Like they did it for Halloween night.
That makes sense.
And it was like this really like scary rock song. And that is probably, I actually still listen to that version because it is just so what this song should be. Like it has these like weird, like wonky moments to it. And who sang this song? I don't remember, but there's this really epic version of it. If you haven't, just Google the Frankie Muniz version on Dancing with the Stars and you'll find it. But this is kind of like, they kind of did a cutesy version of it. And the song isn't cutesy.
Yep.
I love Lacey. I still, for me, in my opinion, she gave in the top 2 performances of the season with the Blink-182 song. Eric is going to call that blasphemous, but I still love that one.
I'm not going to be called blasphemous because I'm done being negative for today. I got all that out already.
What did you think about the duet with Madison Vandenberg and Dan and Shay? Did you enjoy that one?
It wasn't long enough for me to really have any feelings about it. I liked Madison singing that song by herself better.
Yeah, I agree. The one huge mess this season, though, there's one performance which,
Weezer, right?
With Weezer, and what happened here? I was watching this, I was like, something is like, if Weezer was like performing for votes, I would give this like a D. Like this was really bad, like really bad.
I am done being negative.
Eric is done being negative, so I'm just going to be like Wade was everything about this performance was just always of weirdness. Even the last thing that I could really kind of point on is the Shay and Audra Day performances.
That was nice.
It was nice. It was good.
I don't know why. I mean, I like Shay a lot, but I don't know why we featured her when she didn't make top 20.
Maybe because she was just such a big character kind of in the early rounds. Which,
because
by
they
the way,
wanted to cut to Lionel crying again because, oh my God, a blind woman singing. It's so crazy. It's so inspirational. Bullshit. She's a good singer. Just leave it at that.
All right. Well, all I can say, this season has started out of the gate up here, kind of went down, but
for me,
I enjoyed Lacey.
For me, it started really low, and it actually found a way to dig a hole.
It went under the graph.
It's the season emerged in China.
Hugo says the Weezer performance in Eddie Island's Benny and the Jets kind of summed up the lows of this season.
Yes, but there were plenty of other lows to go along with those too.
In terms of other finales, Eric, where did this stand up? Where did this end up for you?
I will give it credit because Adam Lambert was on and he was amazing, and Carrie Underwood sounded great. We should mention that.
Yes.
But other than those 2 guest performances, it was one of the weakest finales I've ever watched.
The season kind of went out with a whimper.
Yep.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what's on the horizon for Adam's TV podcast coming up. So, like I said, we are going to be covering the upcoming season of America's Got Talent, which I believe returns
in less than 2 weeks.
Eric, you were tweeting about Britain's Got Talent this past week. What was going on with Pip the Magic Dragon? I was hearing some things that he was going to be on the show. There was a commercial with him.
I saw the back of his head in an early and one of the montages in the first episode, and he apparently is not going to be on the show, which means to me he auditioned, but they just didn't want to show him.
What happened? What do you think?
I have no idea, but I'm annoyed.
Do you have a favorite contestant on Britain's Got Talent?
Honestly, I was banking on Piff being my favorite contestant. I have a couple I like, but no one I'm actively like, you're the one I'm wanting to win at this point. So we'll see. I'm going to keep watching it. I enjoy the show. So.
All right. Well, I guess I'm excited for America's Got Talent. I mean, we got to figure out another way so I could get to wear the crown at the next finale podcast.
We're going to do the golden buzzer thing again. We should get one golden buzzer.
How about we should get like 5 golden buzzers.
One golden buzzer each, and whoever makes it further wins.
But what if they both go like the quarterfinals?
When we flip a freaking coin at them.
How about we repick the golden buzzers?
Fine. If they go at the same time, we repick.
All right. Well, do you have any final thoughts on this finale, Eric?
Nope.
Well, then I guess I will say I am Adam Samuel. You can find me on Twitter at AdamSoapbox or on my two websites, adamsoapbox.com and adamcvblog.com. Where can we find you, Eric?
Eric_Ascher on Twitter, EricAscher01 on YouTube, ericascher.com. Episode title this week is We're Done Being Negative.
Yep. I mean, I enjoyed this season. Most of it, I guess. No.
I really wanted to like it, but for me, this was such a letdown of the season.
Where, in your opinion, did it go wrong? Like, what happened with the season that it's kind of stopped being good for you?
There were 4 people who I could have conceivably rooted for it in this season, and all of them were gone by top 3.
Jeremiah, Madison,
Uche,
Walker,
and Demetrius.
I was sad when Ashley and Lacey, like those were my 2. I think they were my first and second draft picks, and they went before top 6.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, anything else, Eric? Any other notes?
I'm done being negative. Peace out.
All right. We will be back next week. We are going to be doing our kind of general thoughts.
What I want to propose the 5 things we would each change about next season of Idol.
I'm going to need 2 5 things.
You'll need 10 things. Okay. That's fine.
All right. Well, we will be back for that. And after, in the coming weeks, after that, we will be covering America's Got Talent. When does that show return again?
End of the month.
Oh, so we might overlap. There might be a week of overlapping here at Adam's TV Podcast.
There won't be a week of overlapping, but you know.
All right. Well, guys, this is fun. Thank you for bearing with us through this episode.
And for the season.
I feel like I should have been wearing like a veil instead of a crown.
Again, the bird crown would have been so much more appropriate. But
all right, guys, until next time, peace.